All right. Saints fans, welcome back. CTV alongside Bill Nesbitt. I'm Brad Robbins bringing you second half action as your Saints in their season opener. The lights have been turned on, but they are down 7-0. And the Blue Devils of Richmond, after a touchdown later in the second quarter, Benetti to Benetti is the lone score. And they're going to get the football after kind of a slog of a first half. Just saw one score, some penalties, and not a ton of ball movement for either offense, really.
No, and both teams have reason to be disappointed with turnovers, penalties, and not really establishing a great drives one after the other. But at the same time, both teams have reason to be encouraged. If you're Richmond, you do have the lead and you get the ball to start the second half. But St. Clair, having not played real strong on the offensive side of the ball, are only down one score.
Yeah, the defense has done a nice job, especially for the amount of time that they were on the field. They held up pretty well. One coverage issue that went over the top for a score, and then one poorly timed jump off sides on a fourth and short that would have made a difference. But other than that, the defense has held up well. Hopefully at the half there were some adjustments made. If you're a Saints fan, you're hoping to see some more chunk plays and moving the football on the ground. Not a lot of first downs in that first half. But they do have to kick it away, and that defense is going to be right back on the field, which time of possession right now, big time in favor of the Blue Devils. So the defense is going to try to get a 3-and-out, get off the field, and let that offense use those adjustments early on.
You mentioned the adjustments, and sometimes the adjustments are what people expect, and making a change and maybe a couple offensive calls or defensive coverages or fronts, and sometimes it's a matter of kids trusting their technique a little better. And just execution. Sometimes the adjustment is just better execution.
No doubt about it. Interesting kick there by Connor Gunn. Kind of spun sideways and kicked to the right. And it went right to Dominic Benetti, the freshman who had the touchdown earlier, and did a nice job of moving the ball up the field, giving the Blue Devils pretty good field position after the awkward start to receiving that kick. He gets him all the way to the 42-yard line, where his brother Anthony gets his call from Coach Sean Misko and trots in for the first play of the second half. Kind of trading back and forth. I'd say Richmond had a few more chunk plays on the ground than St. Clair did, but nothing to write home about, certainly in terms of rushing production. Bergeron for Richmond getting the bulk of the carries. He's in the backfield now with Benetti. Looks like the Blue Devils right out of the half having trouble getting lined up. They are good now. Good snap. Play action. Benetti holding on to it. Looks like Phillips had his jersey to start slowing him down, and Pennywell finishes the job. Just a pickup of one.
Yeah, nice job by Josh Phillips. Looked like he maybe found a crease and was about to scamper for maybe 10 yards or so, and was able to just reach out and slow him down just enough to get that help from Cooper.
Pretty good strength there by Phillips, just holding on with the fingertips of that jersey. Gave his teammates in pursuit time to get there. Keep it to 2nd and 9 for the Blue Devils. Sun kind of fading behind the clouds. I'm sure kind of a welcome thing for all the guys that have been on that hot turf. It is a warm one here at East China Stadium.
Even for some of the old guys in the booth.
You got it. Moisture galore, ball over the middle, and that is tipped off the fingertips of his intended receiver, Charlie Heitzelberger, and then immediately right on the spot, number 1, Cameron Kaminsky, who earlier the ball, he got beat over the top for the touchdown, comes up with a huge play and really good concentration by Kaminsky to hold on to that one and get a turnover early here in the second half for the Saints.
And that's one of those where, as players and coaches, you're excited for not only the turnover, but you just saw the drill come to life on the field. The tip drills, I'm sure they've done a few times, and it comes to fruition.
Famous question of why are we doing this? That is why. Put it on tape, show it at the practice. Kaminsky with a big play there gives the Saints early life and momentum. The offense back onto the field, this time Farkas. We've seen a little bit of Ellis as well, but it's going to be Luther with the carry, and the best run, I'll say, out of standard formation and down in distance for the Saints of the day was right there.
Yeah, found a nice crease, and, really wasn't touched until he got to level 2 that time.
That's what the offensive line is looking for in terms of execution. Get through that first level and let Luther and the other backs make the next guy miss. A good little shift and adjustment there. Picks up 5. Saints kind of on the right side of the sticks here early. Saw a lot of going to the air in the first half because they felt like they couldn't move the ball on the ground. Luther and Ellis join Farkas in the backfield. This time it's going to be Ellis, left side, makes a man miss. Good adjustment there, good tough run. He's still on his feet, spinning, carrying. He's carrying Jalen Browning with him past the 50 to inside the 45 for a Saints first down. Pretty impressive run there by Peyton Ellis.
That was absolutely outstanding. He was just about to get tackled for a loss, then about tackled for maybe a first down, and then went beyond that for a nice chunk play.
So back-to-back there, Luther and now Ellis get pretty good yardage on the ground for the Saints. Also, offensive line did the work on the first one. Ellis with a good individual effort on the second. Saints moving the ball inside the 45-yard line. Farkas out of the gun. It's going to give right away. Much better push by the Saints offensive line. Ellis right there. That time it was noticeable from here. Richmond's not able to make any contact. That was a first-line guy that touched Ellis, but it wasn't for 3 yards before they were able to get a hand on him and a 4-yard carry.
Yeah, now this is one of those things where St. Clair, I'm sure, wants to just continue to run the ball. You just got to avoid those penalties now. You got to be feeling they can maybe establish something now.
Got to be feeling good about the first few carries of this half. 2nd and 6 from the 40. Offensive line doing a really nice job. Farkas going to try this one from under center. He's done a good job of going back and forth between the shotgun and under center. This one, quick dive to Luther. Guys up front do a good job there. Gets a few.
And I would imagine this has got to be now, 4-down territory for the Saints. They got 2 downs to get 2 yards, so don't have to get crazy here.
Yeah, making their play calls here. You're just going to let that offensive line keep working. You got to believe if you're establishing the run here, you got to be able to get 2 yards and 2 downs. The challenge put squarely on the shoulders of Cooper Secord, Stevie Neiman, Pennywell, Carter Peterson, those guys to make a push. Looking like a little bunch formation. Didn't see a lot of that in the first half.
No, I think we only saw it the one time in the first half. Tight bunch to the
center.
right side.
Another nice hole. Luther, no question about those 2 yards. Saints inside the 30. Got something going here.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about adjustments, and maybe they found something in the alignments with the Richmond front 4, and are exploiting it now.
Yeah, you wonder if that's a little bit of grease board at work. You have some guys up on the booth that saw something that maybe wasn't getting lost in translation on the headphones in live action. If you were able to kind of mock it up in the locker room, all of a sudden they've seen the one assignment that was getting blown making all the difference, and now if that guy's getting blocked, you see the result. Luther picks up the first down there. Saints working this bunch. This time they're going to snap it out of the gun. Reed joins it. They're going to pass here. A little bit of pressure. Goes up top.
They went for double
move. We talked about that earlier. They might have put that in the logbook because earlier Nesbitt tried to hitch back, and Jalen Browning did a good job of coming up with it. And really right there, good coverage by Browning, but not a bad ball.
No, not bad. He had him maybe by a half a step or a step. He did put a double move, but a nice recovery by Browning, and just a good football play. Sometimes it's a good throw, good route, and a good defensive play.
Seen that twice out of defensive backs for the Blue Devils earlier on Holden Schulk. Looked like a big chunk play, and at the last moment, Blue Devil defender knocks it away. It happens there for Jalen Browning. 2nd and 10. That one goes to Gabriel. That looked a little bit more like the first half. That Reed, they give it to him right away. It's going to bring up 3rd and 11. Now the Saints are looking to get this thing to at least a 4th and 5. Going to try to pick up 6 to 8 here, you got to imagine. Gabriel comes off the field after that carry. Nesbitt split wide side. Schulk, I believe, is nearest. No, that's not. That is 16 and not 14. Apologize.
That's Cody Avery.
That's, yes, on our side with Nick Reed. Farkas gets the snap. Ellis was in the backfield. This is the first time we're going to see him tuck it and run. pretty athletic, and he breaks a tackle. He's got some
He
room.
might
Farkas
get
might
in.
go. 5, touchdown. Saints, I'm looking for flags. I see one.
Oh,
There is a
Yep.
flag out near the 30,
Nice. The early call I see is a hold over near that
and they're bringing
sideline.
them back. And while we got to enjoy an athletic display by Farkas that I hope he may repeat, they're going to have a devastating penalty that's going to be a hold, and it's going to bring it back, and they're going to have to try that again.
But you're right. Not only was it an athletic play, but if you're a Saints fan or and pulling for Farkas, not only was it the athletic move, but it was the poise after getting pressured early, and then the decision to scan the field and see he's got an opportunity. So there really was a lot happening, not just with his feet, but also with his eyes and his brain in that play.
He didn't force anything, didn't make a mistake, and he made a couple guys miss, even broke a tackle. So if anything, they can scratch some confidence for their quarterback out of that play. Let's see how they respond, though, because it's going to be 3rd and 21 from the 40, and that's a lot different than putting up a touchdown and tying this football game like it felt for a moment there. Full backfield with Farkas. He's going to drop back, roll opposite. And they throw that one to the ground, incomplete. Saints probably are fortunate that they didn't get a holding call there on the right side. And it's very likely that the Saints are going to have to punt one away, and it feels like a missed opportunity on this drive after a pretty nice start.
It is a missed opportunity, but there should be some things that are reassuring. They established a little bit of a run game there. We saw Farkas maybe a little more come of age and feel more comfortable as the quarterback. And unless something really strange happens here, should be able to pin Richmond deep.
Ellis on the punt.
It looks like they're staying in an offensive.
Interesting. I don't
Maybe
know
it's a
if does
quick
Farkas have
look.
the ability to pooch punt
I
this.
don't know.
Trying to give a different look.
It's
This is
kind of that
4th and a long
formation.
way. They have an arm punt situation here. They're going to go for this, and it's caught. And that's Avery Cody. He catches it at the 38-yard line, but
Only
that's
picked up
not
maybe
nearly
2
enough.
yards.
Yeah. You'd think you'd want to air that one out a little bit farther, and while it's a completion, it's going to give the Blue Devils pretty good field position, and after a nice drive that got held up once again by a penalty, turnover on downs goes back to the Blue Devils.
I don't know if they're trying to run everybody off, and sometimes you run people off and get that crosser, and then he gets run after catch. But you got to tip your hat up to Richmond that they made a great defensive play in a situation that probably weren't prepared for.
Almost feels like with that good fortune, you wonder if Coach Misko is going to want to take a shot here. He doesn't. Bergeron gets the carry. Good hole there, and he stiff arms his way and then bumps Cody and gets tackled out of bounds by, it looked like Peyton Ellis, who is a little slow to get up.
Looks like maybe a knee or an ankle, something on his lower leg, it appears.
Peyton Ellis struggling to get back to the huddle a little bit. You're kind of hoping it's a Charlie horse more than anything twisted or bothered. He's kind of
walking a little better now.
off. So hopefully something temporary that all football players go through, and he'll be moving full speed in no time.
In fact, his gait right now, his walk looks pretty normal almost. So
nice carry there by Bergeron. Pennywell is going to provide a little pressure. Benetti goes deep. They went right at the injury, and a really nice ball over the top. He hits Joseph Hollister, the sophomore, and Benetti gets his 2nd touchdown of the day. And whether it was just good luck or good coaching, they went right after Peyton Ellis in coverage, and he was kind of limping. They went right by him, and they're able to complete the pass. Nonetheless, Hollister with a nice catch, and Benetti delivers a nice ball. Puts Richmond up 13-0 for the time being, and Bartels is on to kick.
yeah, and like you said, not only was it probably a pretty smart call to go after someone that was injured, but don't get lost in the idea of it was a great execution. It was a perfectly thrown ball and well corralled. Hit him right in stride.
Yeah, just as impressive as perhaps the play call was the execution of said play call, because Ellis stayed with him for a moment, but that ball led right over top of his hands, and the kick by Bartels is a no-doubter. It is 14-0 with 5:39 left in the third quarter, and the Saints are going to bring that offense back out onto the field, and it's starting to feel like it's got to be go time now.
Well, this is mental go time. This is when you're going to find out how you handle adversity. You know, when you were moving the ball pretty well, and then you give a big play, all of a sudden, are you going to bounce back? Are you? It's big right now. The kick return / offense, if they are able to reestablish some momentum.
Yeah, less than 10 minutes ago in real time, it felt like this game was tied up on a scamper from Farkas, and just like that, it turns around, and they're down 14-0. So got to try to recapture that momentum. The offensive line did a good job on that first drive. I thought they looked much improved in execution, and then Farkas put on an athletic display that I'd like to see him try again. Right now, Benetti feels like he's kind of moving and shaking and making plays, and you want Farkas to get freed up to do some of those things as well, especially if Ellis is going to be a little hobbled. Coach Tatman and him having that conversation right now. Last time Bartels came out to kick, we said, well, he's probably going to put that into the back of the end zone for a touchback, no doubter. And what he did was he put a bunch of hang time on a ball and landed it like it was a pitching wedge at the 2-yard line, where the Saints were forced to return it and only got to about the 15-yard line. Let's see if that's the strategy again. Bartels with another boot. Nice and high. They're going to let that one bounce. Might have been a conversation since it happened last time, so they're going to bring that out on a touchback a little bit better than getting stuck inside the 20.
And you never know, even on that previous kick, it was nice and high down to the 2. You're still kids. Maybe he was trying to get it high into the end zone because he hit that every bit as high,
no doubt,
and 7 yards deeper.
And that one did bounce and make its way through. So the Saints going to try to recapture that little bit of momentum that they had on the last drive.
And the flip side, you have to tip your hat to Richmond after facing some adversity at the start of the second half to be able to not only get the stop, but then come back and put some points on the board.
Yes, they bared down. Farkas going to run the ball again. He might have lost that one. That ball's loose, and they're going to call him down, which unfortunately for St. Clair, it might actually hurt him in terms of yardage because that was recovered by Holden Schalk up
for a
near
5-yard
the 25. Gain. Yeah, and this is only going to be about a half a yard gain. So they let Farkas run it that time.
But I do think we don't have the replay, but I do think the official made the right call.
It looked like it scored it out late. Yeah, it's hard to tell from up here, but looked correct. Saints have Cooper Secord, who is the center, hobbles off. That's a big deal. I wonder if Coach Bishop might end up taking a timeout here. You'd have had no chance to have your center and quarterback exchange.
They haven't, but Braden Schweiger, who just went in, was also a part-time center last year. Him and Cooper early on were really vying for that position, so he has plenty of experience.
No issue there with the shotgun snap. Farkas is able to deliver it to Luther, but not a whole lot going. Picks up another half yard, brings up 3rd and 9 for St. Clair. Just keep the personnel the same. Secord stays on the bench. Ellis comes in. He replaces Maximus Hunger. And he's calling the play. You wonder if this means he's going to be the guy with Farkas, on the sideline. Ellis is in at quarterback. Situational platooning at the quarterback position right now. Ellis can throw the football. Quarterback last year, obviously. He's going to take this one and design run for him, and nothing doing at all as number 26 for the Blue Devils was not fooled by any type of play action, and the sophomore Logan Evans corrals Ellis for a loss. Brings up 4th and 12 from the 18. Saints unable to get anything going.
Yeah, he just came really hard on that backside, whether from the weak side, whether it was a missed block as far as assignment, or they were planning on him holding, and he just came really aggressively down the line of scrimmage.
Crashes in for sure and makes the play, and it's going to bring on a Pennywell punt, a nice spiral and some good hang time there. That's received by the freshman Benetti. He makes a stiff arm. He gets it up the right side, and the freshman's cruising, and he's forced out of bounds by the punter, Pennywell, but he's inside the 30-yard line to the 25-yard line. And so a pretty good punt But a nice individual effort by Bonetti is going to set up the Blue Devils again here with 3 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yeah, if you're Richmond, that's exactly what you were looking for, probably even more than what you were looking for. And if you're St. Clair, just the opposite.
Yeah, really nice play there. Dominic Bonetti kind of putting his mark on this game. That was a pretty big impact play, and, of course, had the touchdown earlier. He's made some of their explosive plays, he along with his brother. Takes a little bit for the Blue Devils to get this play in, and
we don't have the benefit today of the play clocks working, so we really don't know.
Right, it's tough to tell.
I'm sure the officials are keeping track, but we can't see.
See one with his hand up and counting, the back judge. Bonetti receives it, Bergeron with it. He's going to pick up a chunk there. Saints going to have to bear down defensively. This is one of those times where it feels like the game is teetering. You want to see what your defense is made of. You want to hold the Blue Devils to a field goal attempt.
I mean, we both been around athletics long enough to know that anything's possible at any point in any game, but this is a situation where you have to almost think you have to have a stop if you're St. Clair. To go down 20-21 when you haven't been able to put points on the board is going to be pretty tough to overcome.
Yeah, it would feel much different if it was, 35-21, and the Saints have shown some explosiveness on offense. It's just been the opposite of that. So a 21 potential point deficit seems overwhelming under these conditions, and a pretty good block set up there on the left side, led by Matthew Misch, and then carried by Charlie Heitzelberger.
He's
nice
coming up
run.
Limping a little bit. I don't know if he twisted his ankle a little bit at the end of that tackle. He's going to goes to the sideline limping.
Yeah, he goes down. It looks like maybe cramping. He's looking for a stretch, and under this heat early in the season and these conditions, you're going to start to see that here in the second half.
Yeah, that's a calf. That's tight.
Yeah. So he goes off. Dominic Bonetti comes back in, and it's first down. Blue Devils operating inside the red zone. Bonetti in the backfield met there immediately by a host of Saints. Looks like they were led right in front by Elijah Naylor. Called his name a couple times today, so good job getting into the backfield. Joined as well by number 52, Carter Peterson. So big play, it feels like there for the Saints. Get them to 2nd and 14.
Particularly after those first two runs where they were getting large chunks without a lot of resistance at the line of scrimmage.
See if the Saints can stack them up again. This is taking a moment here. You wonder about the need for a timeout.
I'm sure he'll be watching the official at the back judge, and if he starts
like it's got to be close. But his hand isn't up yet.
No.
There it goes.
He's still got 10 seconds.
Yep, no count so far. So we'll see if he can get it. Ball is snapped. They're looking one-on-one. Ball over the top. A little bit of pressure. You're going to get a hold in the backfield no matter what happens on this play. And it's going to be the Blue Devils this time guilty of an infraction that's going to really put them behind the 8 ball in terms of continuing their drive.
It's illegal
man downfield. A very quick call for that. That seemed like it was in the area of a hold, so I don't know if they just lined up funny and that guy at the end wasn't eligible to go at all.
Yeah, maybe the tight end was covered by the guy split was on the line of scrimmage and should have been off. With
the speed with which that illegal man downfield was called, I would think that may be the situation. Usually you don't have that unless the quarterback's scrambling around for a minute and the guys get loose. Nonetheless, it's a loss of 5. It'll bring 2nd and 19.
And even though Richmond has that kicker, because they want that third score here, that makes it a little more difficult. You never want to keep getting farther away, because I'm sure that's in their back pocket as we at least get 3. But you back up here, and it's not a guaranteed 3 now.
No, you're working toward a 40-yarder now, and in high school football, that's nearly unheard of. So we're getting to that length. Nonetheless, that's going to bring the third quarter to a close. Richmond scores once. Saints still not on the board yet. We're going to flip the field, and Richmond's going to have 2nd and 19 from the 23 when we come back. But right now we're going to take a break for some messages on CTV.
great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom.
On the diamond.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
All right, welcome back. Fourth quarter action underway here at East China Stadium. Richmond leads 14-0. They have the football, 2nd and 19 from the 23 after an illegal man downfield penalty brought them back. Benetti hands off to his brother Dominic Benetti. They try to string it out with the motion and nothing doing there. Looks like Avery Cody did a nice job, strung it out and made a sure tackle. So they were looking to get a chunk there were the Blue Devils, and they went backwards instead. So 3rd down and probably 19 or 20 here. Got to think the Blue Devils are going to, well, I would think go to the air perhaps, but we did talk about the fact that they do have a strong field goal kicker, so maybe just trying to pick up a few to get 5 more yards of the field. You know, they're thinking field goal. You may see Bergeron take a handoff and go toward the middle or wherever Bartels' favorite hash is.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference that they can pack on a 3rd score here. The Saints need to get that 3rd time. Doesn't matter with 2-point conversions even. They'd still be one behind it. So out of the pistol, they are going to hand to Bergeron. He is going to the middle of the field, and he picks up a ton. It's not going to be enough for a 1st down, but he is going to get him to the 15-yard line, and Bartels is kind of dancing around like he's going to do it, and he does usher his way onto the field. So a field goal attempt upcoming.
But a much more manageable, like you said before. He has plenty of leg, but it's much closer now as far as the angle.
Yeah, they got that one to the center of the field, and you'd have to imagine this is a distance at about 32 yards that he practices frequently. So it's a matter of the snap and the hold now. Snap's good, hold is down. We've got whistles, and that came off funny.
That was going to be, it looked like it was going to be, but, the whistle was blown too. So
the Saints go offside as well. I don't know that was a good kick, but the Saints were offside, and they're going to give Bartels another chance at it. Benetti walks over to Coach Misko like they're thinking about going again or going for
looks
it.
like they're going to bring that.
So the Blue Devils are at least thinking about it, and we'll see what they come up with. They go back to the offense. I don't know if I agree with this call, but he did just watch, I think, the ball sail left of the uprights. So Coach Misko with 4th and 6. You wonder if he's sending Benetti out here to hard count him again. The Saints did fall for one earlier in the game.
And if that's what he's doing, I agree with the call. Otherwise, yeah, I still have to have confidence in my kicker. If I think my kicker's good, the whistle was blown.
Oh, he snapped the football instead of calling him off. I think the Saints recovered the football.
I do believe so. That is that huge break for St. Clair that we were talking about.
So the center did not remember the count, and that you don't see very often, and a huge break for the Saints because I think 3 points was a sure thing from that spot.
I think so as well. On that previous attempt that he pulled up, you remember that was after the whistle was blown. It's at that point oftentimes your concentration and focus is also shot. I would have trusted my kicker to go after it. So, of course, hindsight's always 20/20. That one of those deals he gets in, everybody says, "Oh, it was a great call to go for it." Nonetheless, if you're St. Clair, that's got to rejuvenate you. You kept it within 2 scores, and if you're Richmond, now you have to defensively say, let's get a 3 and out, and let's get back in that same spot.
So the Saints with a little bit of life. The offense has been a little bit limited, so it felt like 3 scores was insurmountable. But with 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter, the Saints can get a drive and get something going. Luther starts that with a chunk play. Gets 4, it looks like. Not a bad start.
No, and I'm sure some people are watching saying you got to throw the ball right now. No, I mean at some point they will, but what you need is you need to get some yards.
Yeah, you don't have to be in a hurry
Nope.
yet. You got a lot of time.
A lot of crazy things happen in the game in a short period of time. So you don't have to be desperate. You have to be urgent, but not desperate.
You can't get the second score that you need without getting the first one. So let's run your best stuff. Not get procedure penalties like we see there. So a false start. It's going to back the Saints up 5 and negate that first run that Luther had.
Yeah, that hurts you because they were ahead of the chains, and 2nd and 6 is what you're looking for when you can. And now you're down to now you're at second and 11. Big difference.
Trying to stay on schedule. Those flags don't help.
No.
So that's going to put Farkas in a position to probably have to throw the football deep in his own territory, and he's going to. Quick out there, but it kind of forced his receiver to their knees. I think that was Ellis out there who was hobbled a little bit earlier. Still not super quick to get up. Wonder if that Charlie horse is lingering a bit. Saints going to bring in a few subs. Peterson, Pennywell, Gabriel come in. So 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8-ish from the 11-yard line. Pennywell caught a pass earlier from Farkas. That would have been on the short side of the field as it's laid out now. They're going to run the football here, and he's met immediately. I think that was number 26 again. Logan Evans, the sophomore, has made a couple of nice plays, and Saints with 4th down and 9 to go are going to have to bring on the punt team. 8 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
And you're right. Evans to me has been very impressive so far. As that sophomore on that defensive right side has made several plays in the backfield today.
Last time Pennywell punted, Dominic Benetti made a nice return and got the Blue Devils inside the red zone, which actually led to that last drive that you saw, and nothing came of it. A good punt there, and this is not Benetti. This is the other up back, and it's Joseph Hollister, another sophomore, shaking tackles and spins, stays on the field. You thought he was going out of bounds? Nope. Inside the 10 to the 9. Blue Devils in business. So you talked about being resilient and staying in after not getting the 3 points. They get the Saints behind the sticks, and then Hollister down inside the 10, less than a minute in game clock time after that, catastrophe.
And when you get to moments like that, sometimes it is a matter of belief now at this point because, those 4 missed tackles. I think there was 3 or 4 missed tackles on that, and a couple of them I think are tackles normally you should be able to make. Just one team has a little bit more bounce in their step at this point.
Yeah, you wonder how confidence is playing into this one. Richmond starting to build a little bit here. The Saints, especially their defense, they've been out here a lot. And you mentioned lots of those guys going both ways, offensively and defensively. They're trying to shuffle them in and out, but as the game wears on, Benetti in this offense causing problems. And it looks like they gashed him there, and I believe, it looks like Heitzelberger's in for 6. And he's going to put the Blue Devils up 20-0 here, 7:18 to go in the 4th. And there's trouble here at East China Stadium. Bartels on to kick. Go ahead, Coach.
I was just going to say, at this point in the game, sometimes you continue to fight. But one of the keys here is to remind your team when you're down and when you're up. You're up 3 scores with 7 minutes. Let's play tough but smart. The after play or after whistle penalties when you start getting frustrated. It happens to sometimes a team that's down and or baiting the team that's up. The old hockey thing. They oftentimes see the retaliators. So both teams have to continue to play aggressive but smart football. When I by smart, I mean just play within the rules.
Yeah, I'll be on the lookout for that a little bit. Haven't seen any extracurriculars to this point. Been a pretty good game in that regard, but as you mentioned, high school kids and emotions run hot. 7:18 to go. This feels like a must-have possession, and I think it's got to go fast.
This is when if you have some kind of special return set up here where, I mean, you want chunk plays on your return right now. I know that Richmond kicks the ball into the end zone, but if he doesn't, you need to have something set up to where you're outside the 40.
And really, that could be their best offensive output. Saints having a hard time moving the football, especially on the ground. They had that nice drive in the third quarter that gave you some thoughts like they'd be able to figure something out. And in their next possession, they weren't able to. So see if the special teams can make something happen if Bartels gives them a chance to do so. Good hang time again. This is going to be returnable.
Again, this is one of these are the hidden yards now. This first guy came down untouched, though.
Yeah, that was Luther on the return, but 64, Wyatt Peters, the senior, nobody blocked him at all. He came unscathed and then makes the angled tackle, and he stops the Saints at the 6, and that's where they'll take over. So 94 yards to go, down 21-0. That's a tough one because if you want to roll your quarterback out, he's going to be in a painted portion of the field when he does it.
Force they deed out to the 9. Not that that's good field position, but it's not as desperate. But yeah, we're pretty close.
Yeah, they got it marked 6th on the scoreboard there for me. So
that's an upside down 6.
Yeah, it's close. So it's going to be the 9. It's a little bit better. Maybe it won't have Farkas in the end zone, but he's going to hand this one off anyway. Pretty tough run there. That one was Wiegand. So they move him, give him a little more room to work. Time not on the Saints' side as it ticks away here in the 4th, down 3 scores. Recall, I think last year the opener was 14-0. Richmond was able to pull that out at Richmond. So kind of a similar theme in terms of offensive production, and I can't say that the Blue Devils have been a clinic on execution on offense, but they've done enough.
And they have had their moments.
Couple of good throws by Bonetti in this one. Farkas trying to match him. Looks for Hunger. 2 guys there. Hunger, one of them. And
Nesbitt the other, I think. No, is that?
That was Ellis.
That's Ellis. That's number 8.
That's
Ellis
Ellis there.
Yeah, 2 guys in the same spot. Typically not how you're going to drive a
your
route combination.
I was going to ask you that as well. I said, how likely is it that they were both supposed to be there, or if Ellis was just trying to run into that area to take one?
Yeah.
He may be feeling like he's got to press for a minute here. Ellis is going to split wide again. Looks like Schalk is on the far side. Nesbitt may be in the slot.
Nesbitt's on the sideline now.
I don't know who.
I can't see who that is in the slot.
It was Gabriel. Farkas thinking about running. He's gotta. And he only gets across the 15, and they're going to let the clock roll there. So he does not get enough for the first down, but I would have to say, Coach, you just got to go for this unless you're worried about the final score.
I think you got to go right at this point. If you're down 1 score, maybe even 2, you can say we can get a quick stop and flip the field. But you're down 3 scores, you have no chance if you punt.
So Farkas in at quarterback. Nesbitt did come back onto the field this time. I saw number 9 trot out there. Gives him another option with good size.
Watch the ball.
He's kind of standing in a bunch with another good-sized guy in Pennywell. Richmond's coach is trying to emphasize to watch the ball. You wonder if the Saints are going to go hard count. They don't. They go left side and nothing doing there. And it's Evans again. Number 26, Logan Evans, man on the spot. We've said it in a couple of crunch possessions already. Comes up with another play, and that all but does it for the Saints here on opening night. 5:35 to go, down 3 scores, and Richmond takes over at the 14-yard line.
Yeah, Richmond's got to feel very secure now. I mean, a moment ago probably did, but really now, barring a true catastrophe, now it's just you play for pride.
Yeah, the Saints have their 3 timeouts, but so do the Blue Devils, and you got to imagine they're going to keep it on the ground. I don't even know. They're going to bring in Bartels at under center here, so Coach Mesko getting the backup quarterback.
I would think
reps.
at this point you would. Those guys practice every day too, and you want to get them some reps during live game situations in case you need them later.
Right, there's no doubt. You're just one injury away from the backup being your starter, so he's going to take the snap. Bergeron in the backfield with him. He's carried it quite a bit. He's going to do it again.
Nice play.
Pennywell stays out there, leaves that left hand free, and makes a nice stop.
And like Evans for Richmond, Pennywell's did a real nice job on the edge today, both stout at the point of attack but also running things down, and done a great job stringing those out and making the tackle.
I was going to say, trying to pick out some bright spots here for the Saints. Pennywell's made some nice plays defensively. I really think overall, and the defense has played fairly well.
Yeah,
I mean, they've got a couple of blown coverages, really a couple of really good throws by Benetti. But for what they've been asked to do, they've held up pretty well this evening. It's just been a slog offensively, which is catching up to them here in the late going.
Yeah, and like you said, the one you wouldn't call it a blown coverage. It was just he beat him. It wasn't like a mistake or anything. He just outran him and a perfectly thrown ball.
Heitzelberger looked like he was going to break it, but he gets corralled there pretty quickly by Larry Warziniak. Going to bring up 3rd and 11 from the 15. Yeah, especially, for Richmond, that second touchdown pass that Benetti connected with Hollister on, that was just a really, really good throw. I mean, over the top, no question. And then the chunk touchdown that Heitzelberger scored on the last drive, that was the first indication that maybe the straw had broken the camel's back there for the defense.
Yeah, on that punt return.
Yeah, the punt return took them to the 9, and then the very next play, just kind of the air out of the sails for the Saints defense, having to defend a short field. Richmond lets it run down to 3 minutes and 50, and Coach Mesko wants a timeout, 3rd and 11. Backup quarterback is in. You wonder if they want to dial up something where he can throw the ball, or if you just want to try to run it twice and let him kick.
Well, I will say this. If you're going to let him throw the ball, it's either going to, I would suspect, either some type of rollout or it better be over the middle of the field, because the last thing you want to do is throw a ball out the flats that can turn into a pick six.
That goes to the house. Yeah.
That catastrophe starts that we talked about before.
That would change things significantly, so you're guarded against that. If you're Sean Mesko, you don't want that to be part of the reality. I would think, Coach, you're just going to run the ball a couple times here, force the Saints. If they want to call timeouts, that's fine. You just wait to kick that field goal and make it 24-0.
Yeah, I would think that would be the smart play here. Like I said, it's only 3rd down. They're not going to kick. I wouldn't suspect down here.
So they're going to put Bartels in the shotgun. It looks like a little bit of a misread. They are going to roll him out and throw. It looks like it was adjusted and caught. Pretty nice little flip of the feet there by Brian Nickel. It's not going to be enough for a first down, but it's 4th and maybe 6 from the 10. And I don't know if they brought the kicking tee out and they're going to try that, or if they're going to let Bartels.
They're bringing the block out right now. It looks like.
All right.
Wrong. But that was one of those. It was a rollout. It was a safe pass. If it wasn't wide open, you run and get something with it. Perfect vision out there as you roll towards the sideline before that throw.
They brought a block out, and Bartels disposed of it. He sent it, so they're going to do this the hard way. Snap's good, holds
Jumped
down, and I
offsides.
think the Saints moved
Jumped
again.
again.
I don't know that he made that.
I don't know either, but
Almost an exact repeat of what happened last time. I wonder if Coach Mesko is going to run an offensive play like they did last time. It did not go great.
trying to jump the count there and got caught again.
So that gives Richmond a 4th and 2.
A really short 2.
Yeah, really. 1. And they are looking like they're going to try to kick it again. The holder is Connor Bergeron, who can run the rock. Bartels set up, Bergeron with the hold. Bartels gets it away, and it does go through on a line drive.
It didn't look like his kickoff, so I will say that.
Or his extra points. Those have been really good.
that went through like a flying saucer.
Nonetheless, 24-0, and now it's the hardest possible 3-score deficit that you have, which makes it, there's a difference there.
But there is a difference between that and a 4-score. And I'm the
Sure.
eternal optimist. If I'm on
There
the
you go.
sideline, I say we still got a shot. So
And not time to mail it in by any means, but if you're the Saints, you got to make a play, and you got to make one quick.
And the way you make plays is, as you know, in any sport, usually it's just by executing fundamentals a little bit better and harder. You don't need somebody to do an individual hero job. You need 11 guys in this sport doing their job at a high level. That's it.
The guys around you got to trust you, and if anything, you know, if time is against the Saints' side here, which it clearly is, they can bank on that and put some things on film that they can build on. You know, if you're going to have to trust that guys are going to do their assignments, you come out here with 2:43 left and put a couple explosive plays together or put a drive together that gets you on the board, that gives you a little momentum going into next week. Bartels to kick, 24-0 Richmond. Just 2 minutes and 43 seconds left here. That one's going to land on the C for St. Clair, and they're going to take over after the touchback. The ball will be marked at the 20.
And as we're winding down here, if I may, just to remind everybody, you know, after tough games like this, it's always tough for the players and it's tough for the fans and the parents, et cetera. But it's important to remember that everybody out there been working hard for this, and we're expecting a better outcome. The worst thing you can do is get into a kid's ear and badmouth either his teammates or his coaches or officials or anybody else, because that's not going to make anything better.
There's no
Whatever
doubt.
you say after a game is either going to make it worse or better, and so choose words wisely, or usually right after game, the only words are nothing or I love you. You know?
I enjoyed watching you play.
Yes, I enjoy watching you play. I love you.
Yeah. 2nd and 11 after a quick out and a loss there of 1. It's a long season, and after losing game 1, they won't be the first St. Clair football team to lose game 1, and plenty of them have gone on to make the playoffs afterwards. So some things to clean up, certainly, but it's just week 1.
Well, half the teams in the state this week are going to be 0-1, correct?
You are correct. There's no denying this being the first week. You mentioned Saints here on a Thursday and moved up because of potential weather tonight, and then tomorrow quite a few games throughout the area as well. A lot going on and a lot to see. Richmond obviously poised to take on a typically difficult and parity-filled conference in the Blue Water Area Conference. Saints part of the Mac Silver. Nice thing about the Mac Silver, Marine City's in there, Marysville's in there, so some local flavor.
And the Saints get all three of the local flavor teams at home this year,
which is a benefit. Farkas dropped the initial snap, rolls out. May have found Nesbitt on that one. And not down yet, but forward progress has stopped.
Really nice poise there. You don't like to see him drop the snap. A nice job of retaining his composure, picking the ball up, and then keeping his eyes downfield and finding not only Nesbitt, but making a real nice throw.
Threw a bullet. Nesbitt sure-handed, catches that one. Nice to see him get 6 yards there, and a tough run after the catch. I don't know that he officially ever went down. 4th down and 6 from the 24. They leave the offense on the field. Time fleeting here. 25 seconds to go. Farkas out of the gun. Play action. Got a little bit of time. Slings it out. That one is caught.
He needs to get out of bounds.
And he bounces it outside. He's going to have a little room here. Can he outrun the defense? That's Connor Gunn, who is the kickoff guy. And I think half the body language of the Blue Devils thought they were going to pop him and he was going to go out of bounds. He spins out of the first one, makes another guy miss. And Farkas to Gunn to the house. It's the Saints on the board. It's not going to be enough, but it's something. We talked about building on something, and there was a play and a pretty good individual effort by Connor Gunn. Put the Saints on the board.
It was a really good individual effort again, but made possible by some pretty nice job by everybody prior to that play. But yeah, don't discount that. I think a lot of people were more concerned about. I know I was even thinking get out of bounds, give yourself another chance, but just a great no, never say quit attitude on that run after catch.
Yeah, I think everybody at this place thought he would just kind of step out of bounds, stop the clock, and play the next one, and Connor Gunn had other ideas. Yeah, you mentioned the right tackle on that previous play did a nice job of holding off the end, giving Farkas some time. I'm not sure if it was 78 who it is now, Joey Allant, but it may have been. Farkas did a good job settling his feet, delivering on time, and Gunn did the rest. This time the snap goes over Farkas's head. We've seen that before. And it's going to be a completion for the 2-point try, but it's not going to bear any fruit on the untimed down, so it's going to stay at 6.
The clock shouldn't be running.
Clock does not run on the
Should not run.
untimed down.
They should put the 4 or 5 seconds back on the clock, I suspect.
And
the
the
kickoff will
officials
likely
are
be
walking off the field. And
well, I guess
I can
that's
say
gonna be
this.
it.
If you're being picky, they should go and put 6 seconds on the clock, and this ball should get kicked. But I don't think that's going to change the outcome of the game, and it seems like both coaching staffs are
satisfied.
fine with it.
Like you said, it's not going to change the outcome, and it could lead to an injury. So maybe you just say, let's
cut your
walk off
losses here and move on to week 2. It's not going to be enough for the Saints today here at East China Stadium in their opener. Congratulations to all those band members and their parents, as it was their parent night. I don't know if we were able to catch that, but thank you for all that you do as well. 24-6, the Blue Devils are going to take this one, and they're going to be 1-0. Saints 0-1 with the late score with Connor Gunn to build on for the Saints. And we're moving on to week 2. Best of luck to both teams. Bill, it was great working with you for game 1. I'm sure we'll see you again this season. But for CTV and Channel 6 and Saints football with Bill Nesbitt, I'm Brad Robbins. We'll see you next time.
You've been watching East China High School Sports presented by Magda. Join us again soon for more East China High School sports action on CTV, your community TV channel for Marine City and St. Clair.
Space air conditioners they got nowadays.
Yeah, those little Mr. Cool.
Yeah.
Those little mini split jobs.
Mini split. Thank you.
Yeah.